Labor Day weekend here in Atlanta, shootings on Saturday and Sunday left multiple people dead, and police are still investigating.
A violent weekend. 11 Alive's Molly Oak is at the scene at one of those Atlanta shootings off Piedmont Road. Molly, police are still searching for a suspect.
This is the scene of just one of the shootings police are still investigating after a weekend of violence. It started on Saturday. Atlanta police got a call about a person shot and killed near Thomasville Boulevard Southeast and Henry Thomas Drive. Police say they later learned that shooting happened off Norwood Road Southeast. Police say the suspect is in jail. Then, 2 hours later, APD is still investigating after getting a call about a shooting off Fairburn Road Northwest where they found a man dead. Later that morning, police headed to another shooting, this one off of Magnolia Way Northwest. Police say a man died at the hospital after getting shot. They arrested the suspect later that day. Then Saturday, just after noon, police headed to a shooting at Margaret Place Northwest and say a woman died after heading to the hospital. Police say they made an arrest in this shooting, too. That takes us into Sunday, a little after 1:30 a.m. Police got a call about a person shot off Piedmont Road where a man died at the hospital. Police say they're now looking for this person of interest who was driving a Kia K5 with dark tinted windows. Then at 10 a.m. off Adkins Road Northwest, APD got a call about a shooting that left 3 adults and 2 kids ages 15 and 3 hospitalized. Police say the shooter, an 18-year-old, shot and killed himself. APD thinks this shooting was domestic. Police also arrested 2 people following another Sunday shooting. This one happened just before 7 p.m. on Whitehall Street. At last check, a woman was hospitalized in critical condition. Reporting in Atlanta, Molly Oak, 11 Alive News.
There's a lot.
Wells, and once again, in just 8 days' time, we have another parent that has murdered their child, their teenage child who is only 16. Let me show you Stephen Thomas Rada. Stephen Thomas Rada is 37 years of age. He was living down the road here with his grandfather, Thomas Rada, who was 65 years of age, and our victim, who was 16 years of age, and his parents gave us permission to use his name as Stephen Rada. Let me first tell you about Stephen Rada. Stephen went to Frostproof High School. His parents said he was in 11th grade. He was to start work next week at Burger King to earn money so that he could buy a car. He was also studying to be an electrician. That was his dream in life. Stephen Rada, who's 16 years of age, was a great kid. Not just a good kid, but a great kid. In fact, he was living with his grandfather to help him out while his grandmother was in rehab. That's the kind of kid that Stephen was. Stephen Thomas Rada, his dad, had just shown up about a month ago. And we asked, where's he been? He's been in D.C., he's been in South Carolina, he's been in Ohio, he's been in Texas. There was even an outstanding warrant for Stephen Thomas Rada in South Carolina, but South Carolina would not extradite, so he was unable to be arrested. Well, on this particular morning, Thomas Rada, the grandfather, left about 8 o'clock to go visit with his wife in rehab. When he returned home about 11 o'clock today, he was met outside by our suspect, his son, Stephen Rada, and his quote was, "I wouldn't go in there if I was you. I killed someone. You may need to call the police." Thomas Rada told us it was not uncommon for his son, Stephen Rada, to talk bizarre. We are told that Stephen Rada used methamphetamine since high school. and he has psychotic episodes. When Thomas Rada went into the house, into the mobile home, there he saw his grandson, deceased in the dining room, kitchen area. And we know that it appears at the early stage of the investigation. And as we always tell you, the information we give you this soon after an investigation is the best information we have. It's certainly subject to change. But at this time, it appears that our suspect, Stephen Thomas Rada, used an angle grinder to kill his son. It breaks our heart. There aren't adequate words to explain how horrific this event is. I've talked to the grandmother, the grandfather, the parents are here. And when you see and hear them talk about how wonderful Stephen Rada, their 16-year-old son, was, how squared away he was, the fact that he was willing to live with his grandfather to help him out while his grandmother was in rehab, the fact that he was scheduled to start working at Burger King next week to earn money while going to high school, he was just a stand-up, stellar young man. To have this worthless individual murder his son is inexplicable. Our homicide detectives will continue to do their work, the investigation. We, by the way, arrested him because he fled from the scene after talking to his father, Thomas Rada. He fled from the scene, and we caught him about a mile west of here on Highway 60. He was leaving the area. He's been from Texas, South Carolina, Ohio, Washington, D.C. He moves around a lot. And after killing his son, he was leaving again. But our deputies, and you've heard me say they're the best there are any place, found him quickly and took him into custody. And when we took him into custody, he told our deputy, "You probably need to read me my rights." And that's exactly what we did. So he is in custody. The community's safe. We don't know yet why Stephen Thomas Rada attacked and murdered his son, Stephen Rada. That's under investigation. But our prayers are with the family. And I want you to know that the world lost a great young man today. We've lost a great young man, and we've got an evil, evil man in custody, and we're going to do our best to see that he spends the rest of his life in prison.